So we start with the obvious first, and that is to shrink government to a very manageable, almost like pocket size, right? Like a like a micro machine size. For those of you that remember micro machines, like that's what we shrink government to in general. We shrink all aspects of government into a very manageable, like Snickers mini type size. Okay, that's what we do. That means you fire like 95% of the entire military. Actually, you just shut down most of the military with the exception of the Navy and the Marine Corps. I mean, you keep like a tiny Marine Corps of like maybe 50, 60 guys. You keep a Navy of maybe a couple hundred guys. You just don't need very many people to do any of these jobs nowadays, especially since nobody apparently cares about the borders. So, I mean, like, why do you even care? Because apparently we don't care about being invaded. That ship has sailed. No pun intended. So yeah, you shrink all of that down. You go alphabetically, starting with the ATF, and you just close down all these agencies. We don't need any of these agencies. They don't need to be there. The only agency that does a halfway decent job is the FAA, oddly enough, and that's just largely because a lot of the guys that are working the FAA are also pilots themselves, and so they don't want to have mid-air collisions, just like we don't want to have mid-air collisions. So that said, it's like that kind of works for them, but like a lot of the other agencies, like the EPA and the BLM and the other BLM and the DOE, the other DOE, the other DOE, yeah, we don't really need any of these agencies. They can all pretty much go away. So when you get rid of almost all of this, then we find that there's just not a whole lot of taxes really required, and much of that can probably be taken care of with just some very small, almost insignificant tariffs, right? I mean, that's how the government ran for a long time in the beginning of the country, was because we didn't have an income tax. You know, the U.S. didn't have an income tax until 1913. And even then, the income tax was supposed to be, in theory, it was supposed to be on like the uber 1%. Like it was only for people making millions of dollars a year in 1913. Because, I mean, like, for example, if you had $1 million in 1913, that was really, you were really saying something. That was a big deal. That'd be the rough equivalent now of having like $1 billion. So imagine having $1 million cash, but it has the equivalent of having $1 billion with a B dollars with cash. That's roughly what it would be like. And I know there's going to be the bunch of people out there furiously typing with your thumbs to say, no, the dollar hasn't devalued that much. Yes, it has. The dollar is a garbage currency. Top to bottom, complete total garbage currency. I can't imagine why anybody still takes it. Other than it's like, well, but the grocery store wants it. Yeah, I know. And who owns all that stuff? Yeah, it's the same people trying to get you to use their currency to buy. You're circulating Disney bucks in Disneyland. That's all you're doing. You're not really, it's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you keep. And if you're just constantly circulating all of the money back through inflation, back to the people who have, effectively swindled the means of production through the use of interest and excessive usury, etc. Like it's all the same people all the time, and like I've said this on many occasions, the same people who control the interest rates, the income taxes, the inflation, and like these are things that are all controlled pretty much by the same folks. So yeah, I mean, by shrinking all of that down to a more manageable size, now that'll create this massive wave of unemployment of federal, state, and local employees. What luck. We have a whole bunch of crops that need to be picked. We have a whole bunch of other jobs that everybody keeps saying, oh, we can't find anybody to do these jobs. Well, I don't know. I mean, if you didn't have a bunch of people working in these fake jobs in the government, then maybe it wouldn't be so difficult to find them. That would be just my suggestion.